Okay, this is Math 2, Chapter 8, and we're going to do number 10, number 11, and number 13? Yeah, 10, 11, 13. Okay, so for the first one, it says on graph paper, plot the points A, -3, -1, 6, and 11. And I'm going to wait for you to do this real quick because I want you to get this done since I'm already done with it. Technically, this is A and that's B. So pause the video and get some graph paper, hopefully. It's supposed to look something like this. Okay, on the first question, I'm only doing A and B, by the way. I'm not going to do C and D since those you should know how to do by now. What is the midpoint of AB? Determine the coordinates of point P on AB. That is 2/3 of the way from A to B. The midpoint of AB being the halfway mark between A and B. So if you go look at it, right now it's kind of difficult to figure out where it is. Is it like right here? Is it like right here? Is it up here? Well, that's probably a little closer. So somewhere like over here. The only question is where. So if we're looking at the graph paper, the faster way to do this is to go halfway. So halfway between, for the x-axis, because that's what we want to find first, halfway from here to here would be, let's see, going in one, going in another, going in second, third, so halfway would be somewhere here. Okay, from here to here, right? Halfway would be right about there. And then for the, so I'm just going to kind of like draw a line, and then hopefully it hits the halfway point, I'm hoping. It hits the halfway point between B, so here, and here. Hopefully that's about halfway. So hopefully that's halfway. Let's see, going in one, going in another, going in third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, perfect. So that's about here. So halfway through is going to be that point right there. That is point M, the midpoint between A and B. Okay, and then determine the coordinates of P, AB, that is 2/3 of the way from A to B. So if this is halfway, point P is going to be a little bit past point M on your way to point B. And it has to be 2/3 of the way. So what we can do is we can find the distance from A to B, which you, well, you probably figure that out, or we can just do it the old-fashioned way. So what we can say is, okay, it's going to take going up, going across, going up, going across, going up, going across. Okay, there's your slope triangles. So I am technically I have 3 slope triangles, right? This distance here is the same as distances here, is the same as the distance from here to here. So if this plus this plus this gives me the whole distance, then technically I've cut this into 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. So this is a third, this is a third, that's the other third. So 2/3 of the way would be somewhere over here. So this would be where point P would be, because this is 1/3 of the way, 2/3 of the way, and then you're left with another third. Okay, so this is point P right there. So that was AB for problem number 10. You still have to write the equation of the line. So what is this equation from A to B? In y equals mx plus b form. And then calculate the distance between points P and M. So the question is, how far is it from point M to point P? And so you kind of have to zoom in a little bit. Best case scenario, my advice would be make a right triangle, there's your triangle, and then calculate the distance between point M and point P. Okay. Let's see, number 10 is done. Number 11. So it says, Randy starts to solve for x in the diagram at the right. She writes the equation 7 squared plus x squared equals x plus 1 squared. Is Randy's equation valid? Yes, it definitely is valid. She used the Pythagorean theorem. So that was your leg squared plus your leg squared is equal to your hypotenuse squared, and your hypotenuse is x plus 1. The only question is next, what is the perimeter? So in order to do that, you actually have to solve the equation. So 7 squared plus x squared equals x plus 1 squared. So we have 49 plus x squared equals x plus 1 plus x plus 1. So if you do a box for that, you should get x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1. So you get x squared plus 2x plus 1. So 49 plus x squared. I'm going to subtract the x squareds from both sides. So you get 49 equals 2x plus 1. So now your job is to solve for x. Okay? And then actually answer the question. The question was, once you solve for x, what is the actual perimeter of the triangle? The perimeter being, add up all the sides. Well, you have to solve for x first, and then add up all the sides. That'll give you the perimeter. So that was number 11. Okay, number 13 is Tramika wants to calculate the area of the isosceles triangle at the right. She decides to start by drawing the height from the vertex A, so she's going to drop something down to side BC as shown below. Will the two smaller triangles be congruent? In other words, are these two congruent? Yes, they are, because you have angle, I think you have angle side angle, if I'm not mistaken. Do you? No, you have angle side. Oh, you have hypotenuse leg. These are right triangles. They are. The question is, so we have 90-degree angle. You drop that down. You have hypotenuse leg congruent statement for both triangles. So they are congruent. The only question is, what is the measure of angle DAB? Where's DAB? Oh, so if the whole thing up here is 36 degrees, so the whole angle up here is 36 degrees. So basically they just dropped an altitude down, cutting both of these parts in half. So technically, half of 36, what is that, 18 and 18? So this is 18 degrees here, and this other one here is also 18 degrees. All right, that works out. And then what is BD? So if the whole thing is 8, this should probably be 4 and 4 because you cut it in half. And then the last part is determine AD, which is this middle line in the middle. Well, your altitude, basically. The middle line in the middle. It's your altitude. So I'm going to take one of the triangles. Let's say we take the one on the right. Okay. If we take the one on the right, I'm going to redraw it. Okay, we have 4, we have 90-degree angle. This is 18 degrees. So the question is, what is AD? Which is this one. ADC. X, let's call it X. Okay, well that shouldn't be a problem with that. That's just a trig setup. So what do we have? We have change in Y because it's across from the 18, change in X because it's next to the 18. This is your hypotenuse. So we only have change in Y and change in X. So that's pretty much what, tangent, right? So tangent of 18 degrees is change in Y over change in X. And you should be able to solve for X because that is technically what AD is equal to. All right. And then once you have that, whatever you have for X, you have to calculate the area of the whole triangle. The whole triangle being ABC. So you know the bottom is 8. And once you find AD, that'll give you the actual height of the triangle. And your formula for the area of a triangle is base times your height divided by 2. And you should be good to go. Don't forget your units squared. All right, so that was 10, 11, and 13. Hope that explains some things for you.